Hey, welcome to Caching in the Northwest. Yes, this is the podcast from the birthplace of geocaching right here in the great Pacific Northwest. Now, it's Thursday at 9 p.m. Pacific, and they call me Chris of the Northwest. And sometimes I don't know why. We're going to talk about geocaches and geocachers from here and all around the globe. So while you're on a long highway trapped between a truck hauling lumber and a truck hauling livestock, we'll be caching in the Northwest. You may be wondering, why would you say such a thing?
I am wondering that.
Well, I don't know if you know a song that starts out, it was the dark of the moon on the 6th of June with a Kenworth hauling logs. Cab over Pete with a reefer on and a Jimmy hauling hogs. No, not a dark desert highway. That's a different song.
We don't know your song, Chris.
Okay.
Nope. Sorry.
Maybe it's just a states thing. It
Maybe
trucking
it's an
songs
age
from the 80s never made it to Canada.
Some of them did.
Most of them did.
Like
Not that
Convoy.
one. Convoy.
You don't know Convoy? That was the trucking song.
I thought
I
the
don't
trucking
think I've
song
heard-
was the song from Smokey and the Bandit. Eastbound and Down.
Yeah. Was that a trucking
I don't
song
think
or
I've
was
heard-
that, a road trip song?
I don't think I ever listened to the lyrics that closely.
Okay. Now, we also have to mention it's the 80th anniversary of D-Day. Okay. Now, do you know about D-Day in Canada?
Yes.
Okay, good,
Hey,
good.
dude, we were there.
You had your
You're
own
welcome.
beach.
Juno Beach.
Juno.
Yes, we do.
Hey, I ham knows. C.W. McCall. Convoy.
All right. Anyways, more seriously, yes. I don't know how many veterans are around still from.
Okay, so I saw the news this morning. There were at least 100 plus veterans from World War II in Normandy this morning at 6:30 local time, because that's when the first
That's-
troops landed.
That is amazing. That is awesome. And if anybody, Laura and I have had the opportunity to travel to the north of France and see that region. And if anybody ever gets the opportunity to go there, I would seriously suggest just going there and checking it out and just learning a little bit about what's happened there. Just unbelievable.
There you go. Wino Seattle thanks you, Land Monkey, for liberating his country from the Nazis.
I take credit for a lot of things.
Yeah.
I can't personally take credit for that, but as a Canadian,
Mhm.
you're welcome.
So yeah, the average age of veterans who fought on D-Day is now 100 years old. Well, it's 80 years. They were, 18 to 22 years old.
I mean, it's just, you think about, a lot of us, our kids are in that age range now.
Mhm.
It'd be like our kids going off to war. I don't know.
I know.
It's tough to wrap your head around sometimes.
It is. Now, when I was 18 to 22, I would have gladly fought for my country. Now, hopefully I'm older and wiser and weaker and they don't want me. But
They definitely don't want us. No question. Keats shares his grandfather was a Spitfire pilot on D-Day. That's amazing.
that's fantastic. Yeah.
All right.
So thank you to the veterans of the greatest generation who, saved freedom and liberty in the world. So,
Indeed.
we were probably just a few steps away from speaking German if something hadn't happened. So
Well, some of us are even closer if we're learning it on Duolingo, but
That's
that's
right.
a whole nother conversation.
but that's a want, not
Not mandated. Yeah,
mandate, right?
fair point. All right. Hey, why don't we get on topic tonight?
Well, you know what? You're already talking and I haven't introduced you. So shh, wait, it's time to bring in our sticky spider monkey. Some say when he plays hide and seek, nobody seeks. And others say his therapist needs a therapist. All we know is he's called Land Monkey.
Hi.
Oh, hi, you're here. I didn't even
Hey,
notice.
you know what? Not only am I here, but our astute live audience has realized, and those who are listening to the podcast may not have realized yet, but we have reached into the depths of the internet and dragged kicking and screaming the chat lackey.
Like,
Hopefully not laggy. We'll find out shortly. The chat lackey live onto the show tonight. Bri Lang, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. I have
Thanks
to pay
for being
attention
the
tonight
appreciator.
now.
Sorry?
I have to pay attention tonight.
Yeah, this time.
not something you normally do. We can see what you're doing.
Yeah, I usually just check the chat every few minutes and see who said what.
There you go. Well, here's a special one for you from your friend Three Hams. Feeling the love? Are you feeling the love? Yeah.
Chat lackey combed his hair. How
Yeah.
nice.
Chat lackey will make a mental note of that comment for the next road trip.
Oh, I can only imagine.
Speaking of road trips, tonight we've brought the chat lackey on because he's going to join us in having a great chat about various adventures enjoyed down at GeoWoodStock 20. Yes, amazing event, wonderful, beautiful location, lots of fun adventures. We're sure many of you who are listening have had fun adventures there. We saw many of you there as well. So absolutely, as the chat lackey is throwing into the screen there, if you've got something to share, use hashtag GWXX and share with us your thoughts there. Chris, I have jumped way ahead.
You really have. That's it. This show's out of control.
Why don't
we should just call it now? And we've had fun. Good night, everyone.
Okay, it's been fun. Well, Chris, why don't we just switch roles and why don't you do our patron appreciation?
You know what? I'd like to take a moment to give a quick reminder that we appreciate the support of our patrons who help this podcast come to you at no cost each and every week. Thanks to Landsharks, who's just one of our corporate Denali level sponsors. You can check out everything they have at Landsharks. That's LANDSHARKZ.
Thank you.
.ca. Only because it's a .ca does it have the Z. It's you can check out everything they have there. They are they ship orders daily. I mean, you're not going to have to wait. Once you put that order in and it's approved, it goes out. They're that good. Another corporate Denali level sponsor, since we're talking about road trips, is Gold Country Geotourism. Visit exploregoldcountry.com to learn more about the Geo Tour and the entire region. And better yet, go download their app. It's going to have everything you need for you to enjoy your time in Gold Country. It's a perfect time to get a road trip out to Gold Country. Go find those Geo Tours. There's 2 of them. And earn your gold bars. If you want to know more about supporting the show, click on the Patreon link on the cashingnw.com website.
Good job.
How'd I do?
You did amazing. I'm so proud of you.
So I think Land Monkey already said use hashtag GWXX and share your favorite, sometimes favorite with a U, sometimes without, your favorite GeoWoodStock memory. Oh, look at Komakino says I did a good job.
Yeah.
You know what? I feel good about myself right now.
Like, we should quit while you're ahead.
Yeah, I know. And you know what? I'm going to stop talking. I've done everything I needed to do.
All right. Well, you know what, folks? We got a little bit of news tonight. A few things into the news hopper. So this just in, a new event has been published for those who are in the northwesterly part of the Northwest, south of Alaska, a little bit south of British Columbia, north of Seattle. Narrowing it down, we're talking about Bellingham, the Bellingham Cache Machine. They've got a dinner event. It's GC ARG T2. It is created by the Terrible Teas. It is an event cache. It is running on July 13th from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. So, if you're going to take part in the Bellingham Cache Machine, well, that sounds like a fun thing to do. Why not do that? And then have dinner with GC ARG T2, and you'll have a great time. I don't know where dinner is going to be, but hopefully it's not as bad as the GC code makes it sound.
Well, it's funny. You're getting a pirate out of that. I get a racing game. I get G-Car GT2.
Ah, there you go. I wasn't really going for pirate. I was just going for like frustrated, like
Okay.
Garfield kind of thing.
That happens to be the same day as the Monte Cristo hike from Comakino.
Oh no!
You know what? If you keep hiking from Monte Cristo, you will eventually get to Bellingham. Maybe not the same day.
Man. Well, I just think that could have been planned better. Running it right over top of Comakino's hike. How rude.
What? Why does Land Monkey disappear when showing the Denali sponsors and Chris does not?
What, like that?
Settings, computer issue. You know what? I got so much into reading, I didn't flash the graphics up. I'm sorry.
It's personal preference. I like having the graphics that the photos that I have. So when you know what? Let's go into this. These are photos that I have taken that are at both of those locations. So that is a photo I took in Esquimalt, where Landshark's office is, and that is a photo I took in Gold Country, Seton Lake, from up on the mountainside of Gold Country. So I just like showing photos of the places so that people maybe get a little bit of a vibe of what it's like there. That's why it happens, Start Cacher. Also because I just like pushing buttons. Ask Chris.
Yeah. Oh, he pushes mine all the time.
All right. Hey, hiding themes. You guys remember the geocaching.com hiding themes of the month?
I didn't.
I haven't.
I didn't remember what they were.
None of us did. We had to Google it, and we've even got a little bit of extra news on that topic. We had to look it up before the show because we couldn't remember what the next theme or what the theme for this month was. But you know what? I'm going to put in a plug for a friend of mine. If you want to see great YouTube videos on theme each month for the hiding themes, check out our friend Just Carlo, his YouTube channel. He's doing an amazing job doing a video for each month. So much fun. Just enjoy those. But yeah, check that out. Anyhow, June, the theme is animals.
I'm sorry, what?
Animals.
Huh.
Like,
well, I see
Doges
animals.
And Katzes. Yes. Animals.
And you has cheeseburger?
I can has cheeseburger. Yay. Ow, that hurt. All right. But yeah, if you want to find out more, check out the geocaching.com blog and then just search cache hiding themes. Yep, monkeys. Those are definitely animals.
Mm-hmm.
Katzes. Yep. Thank you. Good stuff, you guys. Brian, did you want to share what we learned when we went looking for the updates on what the theme of the month was?
Oh yeah, there was something. There was a footnote that said that the themes for July and August were updated on May 1st, but no mention of what actually changed.
Oh yes, they're highlighted. They're on that page.
Yeah,
but we don't know like what they were previously now.
Oh, what they were previously, right?
So the new theme for July is outer space, and the new theme for August is water and nautical. Not naughty, nautical.
Oh, all right. I lost interest now. Okay.
Kitty Quest wants to know if a Kitty Quest fits for the animal theme. Yeah.
I mean, probably. I'd be really interested in
that.
Sorry?
You could make a letterbox called a Kitty Quest.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. So, hey, you know what? That brings up a great idea. Folks, if you hide an on-theme cache, not just in June, but any month this year, if you hide an on-theme cache, send us a photo. Tag us on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook in your photo so that we can see it and we will share it on the podcast. That would be a lot of fun. I just thought of that idea right now.
Fantastic.
Good.
We
Chris
will
is like,
share
would you
photos.
stop doing things like that?
Well, good luck with that.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun. If you hide an
So-
on-theme cache this year, in any of the months, post a photo of it, or or whatever,
Or at least a
photo.
link to the description, right?
Yeah, but ideally a photo. That would be really fun to see a photo of it, and tag us in it. Otherwise, if you don't tag us in it, we're never going to know. So
That's right. You could even send that picture to feedback@cachingnw.com. You could call in and describe your on theme hide at 253-693-TFTC.
Good job.
Okay, there we go. Hey, we are talking about GeoWoodStock 20 or GeoWoodStock XX tonight.
I've heard of that.
Yes, I
Yeah.
know, because we've already mentioned it and we're going to talk about it some more. So if you want to share your GeoWoodStock 20 favorite memory with us, use that hashtag GWXX. So let's start by talking about Route 66, because that was the theme and the location for GeoWoodstock this year. There were great adventure labs and caches along what is known as the Mother Road.
Route 66. Yeah.
Mhm.
I didn't do a lot of the actual Route 66 Adventure Labs series. That GSM times 2 is definitely the expert on, and he's
And
been on the show before talking about that.
well, he's going to be on again talking
Excellent.
about Route 66. He's actually doing them.
Excellent.
So
Yes.
we will have real world examples and expertise to talk about Route 66 geocaches, or I'm sorry, adventure labs.
This just in.
Yes.
Just Carlo posts in the chat that outer space used to be the theme for July, and water nautical used to be the theme for August, which is pretty sure what we just said. So
Yeah. So
I don't really know.
Yeah,
what
I think
has
he
changed
caught the edit. You're going to have to use the internet Wayback Machine to go
there.
back, I don't know, a couple of days and figure out.
That's a lot of effort.
it feels like a lot of work for something that doesn't really matter.
Oh yeah, that.
There you go. Just Carlos says September used to be pop culture, but that got bumped for sneaky camouflage.
Oh, camouflage.
Yes, camouflaggy.
Flage.
Ooh, fancy.
Anyway, back on topic.
Yeah,
Okay.
Talking
Route
about
66.
the Route 66 Adventure Labs, and I did a number of them between Kingman and Seligman, or however you pronounce that sound.
Seligman.
Seligman.
Is that to the east or to the west?
This is to the west of
West.
Flagstaff.
Okay.
So we landed in Las Vegas, rented the car there, and drove to Flagstaff. It was we figured it would be cheaper and let us see us more of Arizona. And we got down to Kingman and immediately took off to the north on Route 66 instead of taking the interstate to the east. And
Much
that's
better
one of
trip.
the sections. Yeah, it was a very interesting road. Not much traffic. I mean, the interstate obviously, just like in the movie Cars, diverted all the traffic out of all the old small towns. And we ran out of cell phone service out there. So it was quite challenging getting some of the answers to work for a lot of the locations. There we go. Three Hams was with me on this. But we were able to unlock all the stages early. So we did that, but then we couldn't answer them.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't have the questions
Oh my.
because we couldn't open them
Right.
once we got out there. So it was a bit of a challenge to figure it all out, but we managed to get little bits of data long enough to get the questions and check the answers to see if we had the right ones, and on we went.
Cool.
So that's you have to remember, when you open the Adventure Lab app, have it open ahead of time. And as long as it's open and you pass through the geo fence, that Adventure Lab stop will remain answerable for you whenever you get data again.
And that was the nice thing that we didn't realize off the top, was that we could unlock them all in Kingman. or
Because
Seligman
the
at the other end.
because
Okay.
the fence was so
You
large.
did not have to be out there to unlock them.
Okay.
There
So
you
it
go.
was a bit of a learning curve for us, and we learned a little bit too late.
On the topic of the Route 66 caches, okay, yeah, sorry. First of all, yeah, Seebeck Tribe sharing. She also did the ones in Kingman Williams and a few others, which is cool.
Mhm.
CRS 98 posted that his favorite of the Route 66 ones were the near
Yes.
two gun, the Apache Death Cave, and the Abandoned Zoo were really interesting, and they were. We stopped there as well when the monkeys were hanging out with Brylang and the rest of the crew, and just reading through the history of that area, we were reading through it as we were driving up, as we were getting close, and we're sort of pre-reading through the descriptions. We're like, this can't be for real. It was just such a crazy story. And then you get there, having read the backstory, which was really well written up in the AL, and you get there and you're looking around and just I went photo nuts with the camera because there's just so many great views and great angles and composition and color and depth. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was a cool stop. There was an exhibit there. The building was for mountain lions,
Mm.
and you could still read across the top of the building mountain lions. That was at the old Tower Gas, maybe. There was a gas station that had like a castle tower out in
Oh
front,
my.
and part of the tower is still standing. It was a round tower. You could see where the stairs curled up inside, but part of the wall has fallen off. These were visitor attractions on the old Route 66
Yes.
back in the day.
And boy, did they go all out, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they sure did.
The other neat remnant at that location was there's an old bridge from Route 66 that crosses Diablo Canyon that is still drivable. Like it's still a functional road bridge. We drove across it. So
in not a small car.
No, that was not a small car.
I did Adventure Labs to the east of Flagstaff.
Well, and the spot we're talking about is to the east of Flagstaff. But,
Okay.
but do go on.
And it came into some really good ones. Went to Two Arrows. There were a couple of trading posts, one called Two Arrows, where there's only one arrow left, but nonetheless. I mean, these arrows are flagpoles put in the ground at 45-degree angles and then decorated to look like arrows. So, we're talking large roadside attractions. But one of the things, I have to say, I was driving by and go, oh, there's a virtual cache. Let's go get a virtual cache.
As one
and
does.
It happened to be at Walnut Canyon. Walnut Canyon is a national park. So required an entrance fee, which we were willing to pay, and get that lifetime national park pass at the same time, which is fantastic.
I only got the annual one.
Yeah, well, you just soon you'll be able to get it.
Yeah, not for a while.
There are two hiking. I fell in love with Walnut Canyon. Let me tell you, I can talk about an entire show of Walnut Canyon. Okay,
excellent. Enjoy your show.
Okay, but I'm not. There are two hiking trails at Walnut Canyon. The Rim Trail is an easy paved and fairly flat 0.7 of a mile round trip with two overlooks, and the Island Trail is a 1 mile round trip trail that descends into the canyon with a series of cliff dwellings. It's rated strenuous and contains 736 stairs.
Chris, it sounded like when you were descending there, you lost connection for a moment.
Yeah, just for a moment. Yeah.
Did you count all those steps to get that number?
No. However, that's what they told me, and that's what I believed.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there was an earth cache also at Walnut Canyon, 3 hams. Now, there are cliff dwellings there, right? So you've got two types of stone. You've got a softer sandstone and a harder limestone. And one of those, I want to say the softer sandstone, has eroded away and left shallow alcoves on the cliff face. And so they built masonry walls and made, simple but sturdy homes to stay out of the raging winds that are on top of the canyon.
That's pretty
So,
cool.
yeah, scattered families and tribes and nations tried to farm there. It was really tough, hard scrabble life. So they would come for a bit and then move on to somewhere else. So there were a lot of transient folks
Mm.
in there from about 600 AD to the 1400s.
Wow, that's
So
a long
there you
stretch.
go.
I was aware that the civilization that had been in that area had mostly collapsed by about 1100 AD, and anything after that was stragglers. Like there wasn't much left in terms of a large population.
There you go.
There you go. Yeah, Island Trail was easy. Rim Trail was easier, says Quincy. Cryptid.
Hmm.
Yeah. There were a lot of steps, but nonetheless, you were able to walk through some of the cliff dwellings, and it was absolutely fabulous to get a glimpse of life.
Very cool. Very cool. CRS98 is suggesting that we should have pictures to show for the YouTube stream, which we absolutely should if we were more prepared for this episode.
Well, you know, I thought about that. I was going to, and I thought, you know what? No, because you can only describe so much, and I figure this way
It's tough
everybody
to
will be
describe.
left wanting more.
Well, I'll tell you what, Chris, when maybe when you have some time over the weekend or
Post some
next week,
pictures.
yeah, just post them on the Caching the Northwest Facebook page,
You're funny thinking I have time on the weekend.
right? Oh well. But yeah, that sounds really cool. We drove past Walnut Canyon. We had a
Yes,
different
we did.
itinerary that Brian will share with everybody.
You know, we loved Walnut Canyon, but that threw us off from ever going to the maze, the GPS maze. We spent too long at Walnut Canyon.
Oh,
So,
bummer.
but I can't say I regret it at all.
There you go.
That's I mean, you have to make choices when there's a big event like this. Like
Mhm.
by the time we left Arizona, like I wanted to go to Walnut Canyon. There's another area north of there, starts with a W, and I've forgotten the name right now. It's a whole set of different cliff dwellings and pueblos and all that kind of stuff. There was a pueblo right in the edge of Flagstaff called Elton Pueblo. There was an earth cache there, which was the only reason I found it. I think Just Finding Our Way mentioned it to me as well.
Okay. He was invaluable that weekend.
He was. And the other place that I really wish I had known more about was Sonoma. Is that the right name?
Sedona.
Sedona, just south of Flagstaff on the twisty mountain road.
Sedona's beautiful. Yeah.
That is the classic Arizona that I was expecting. Like
the red rocks of Sedona.
Yeah.
The red rocks, the fancy, or the geological landforms.
Right.
That's what I was expecting to see a lot more of.
Yeah.
I would love to go back and spend more time there.
Sedona on that weekend was absolutely packed. Sedona was only 25 miles to the south.
Sedona is always absolutely
Sedona's packed.
From the roads and all the signs, no parking, no parking, no parking. I think it's packed a lot in that area.
When Laura and I did the Utah Geo Tour, one of our drives, we went south to north, started in Phoenix and worked our way up through Arizona and saw a lot of amazing things, Grand Canyon and Antelope Canyons and things like that. But we went through and stopped for a little bit in Sedona, but holy heck it was exactly Just Finding Our Way. Traffic in Sedona was a zoo. And it was like, we were like crawling through Sedona. But once we got on the outside, there was a few great geocaching stops where there was beautiful views back. But yeah, I mean, just driving through the town, if you can just take your mind off the traffic and just enjoy what's around you, it's the most beautiful location to have a town for sure.
Yeah.
We flew over Sedona, and it was amazing to see, this red circle on the ground that was Sedona, and it out of the brown landscape, this red circle. Was like, well, there goes Sedona. Boop.
Yeah, that's
and
cool.
it's just for some reason, the rocks are red there and brown everywhere else. It was something to see from the air.
That's cool.
CRS 98 says Sedona was spectacular. Spent one day there earlier in the week. Love the cache in the police department.
Yeah, we missed that one, but we'll be back for it one day.
Yeah, my wife and I drove down there just because it was a quick drive, but we really couldn't see anything because everything was just overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Well, I put through 7:30 or 8 on a Sunday morning. No, on a Monday morning, and it wasn't busy at all.
There you go.
Everybody was still in bed.
That's the trick.
That's pretty much it.
Quincy Cryptid did share the name of the other First Nations village, Wupatki
or Wapatki or something like that. Yeah. There's the reason I noticed that one on the map was there's a large number of earth caches and virtual caches in the area, highlighting all the different features.
Makes sense. That's cool.
Because I gather there's some of those native dwellings have like there's a sink in the rock which collects water, or there's a spring in the bottom of it or something like that, so that's their water source.
Wow.
And it's built near those, so
that makes sense.
So cool.
That's how you get the geology aspect.
Flagstaff in the area surrounding is absolutely gorgeous. Spending a weekend there just simply was not enough. I could spend 2 weeks and still not get my fill of that area. It was absolutely gorgeous. And the weather was fabulous.
Yeah. You know what? Coming from the Northwest and going down into Arizona, they couldn't have picked a better location for us. There was not a major degree of acclimatization required. So that was very nice. And I mean, you could have spent quite a while there with all the satellite events going on, which was awesome. How many did you guys get to enjoy?
2 or 3. My first one was Pint in the Pines.
Okay.
Absolutely incredible location. Most of the historic buildings in there were built in the 30s. And so this was a pub, a bar, restaurant built in the 30s. This incredible split tree trunk over the front door there.
Yeah.
I spotted it driving by one time. I'm like, what is that? The satellite events were absolutely packed.
They were.
It would not surprise me if a couple of them had hit mega. I know they could have.
They could have potentially.
And I think that's one of the things that I was thinking about, because it is so tough, right? Like you're planning all this stuff going on for the organizers, and you don't know how many people are going to come out to the side events. And so I think there's a couple of them where they probably just ended up with a lot more people than they thought were going to show up. And I mean, you know what, as a geocacher, as an attendee, you've got a choice. You can do the, it's too crowded in here, or you can just do that. Wow, must be such an amazing place. Everybody wants to be here. I'm going to take it in. If I can't take it anymore, I can step outside. But awesome to be there. And again, I just kudos out to the organizers. Everything was super well planned. But the satellite events were all at interesting locations. And that Pint in the Pines one, definitely, Chris, busy. But just the atmosphere inside there was so cool. That was nice.
After about an hour, I looked around. I walked outside and I'm like, oh, why didn't I come out here earlier? It's cooler and quieter. This is the place to be.
Yeah, that's tough though, right? Like,
oh yeah,
that's good.
3 Hams did the Pint in the Pines event just long enough to grab my registration package and skedaddle.
Yeah. Yeah, that was good.
That's what we did.
Do we want to talk about the main event?
I think so. What other side events did you go to?
Side events, we made it up to the 2 Mile High event.
Yeah,
okay.
Quite 2 miles high, cool. Unfortunately. Very
the
cool
gondola.
Location. The gondola. We didn't ride the gondola. There was nothing at the top except the view to justify going up, and a huge lineup to get on it. So
right.
Yeah, and I honestly had so much fun just chatting with people. Another really well attended event, but because it was outdoor, it
It
didn't
didn't
feel
feel
crowded.
as crowded. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did
Um,
you make it to the train event on Thursday? A train to
Very briefly.
train station in Williams with an optional Grand Canyon train ride.
We made it there very briefly before we buggered off to the Grand Canyon on our own because we planned to drive up and use the shuttle buses to get around
Mhm.
and see the here, just Carlo. He heard it was meh.
all right.
Land Monkey knows why.
Yeah, hashtag FATAS. We're going to talk about this when we get to the FATAS for sure.
Well,
I'll,
CRS98 said, I love Flagstaff. I was there for 10 days and could still go back.
wow.
Yeah.
There's commitment. But yeah, the Mile High event, great location. It's at a ski hill, the Snow Bowl, the Arizona Snow Bowl.
Mhm.
And what was funny is that there was still a bit of snow there. There's actually some hardcore snowboarders, skiers still trying their
Wow.
best and enjoying the slush, but I wouldn't ski in that crap. But I'm too old for that.
No, you snow snob.
Yeah, I am. I'm a total snow snob. But I will tell you, they had some local brewed beers on tap there at the event. I mean, you had to pay for them, but
Oh,
oh my
bummer.
goodness, it was very, very good beer. Enjoyed that.
I couldn't have any. I was driving.
Just finding our way. Attended 8 side events plus the main and the maze. A very busy week.
Wow, that's commitment right there.
And their Seaback tribe said, I was amazed at those still skiing and snowboarding.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's only a very narrow snake of snow down the mountain. Your route was picked.
Yeah, exactly.
If you crash
CRS
and you go off, you're crashing into something.
CRS98 says, I went to the train event, got robbed on the train. Just because the trip was so expensive, right?
Oh,
No,
did they have like a reenactment train robbery? Oh,
Yep.
that's cool. That's cool.
So that was a lot of fun.
There you go.
But the main event, right?
Well, hey,
GeoWoodStock.
before we get to the main event, just one more comment. Cache Canada, they loved the whole weekend and the few side events they did attend. Was nice to see friends new and old, and absolutely so many. I was amazed how many folks from the Northwest that we ran into down there. That was super cool. But
So
please,
I heard,
yes,
of course, Arizona was very well represented. California was well represented. Washington was actually the second most represented state after California. So
way to go, Washington.
there you go. Northwest.
I would say British Columbia was probably the best represented province. There was a lot of folks from home there.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
Chris, you want to talk about, oh, sorry.
I think Chris wanted to talk about the main event.
Yeah, he sure did,
The
Brian.
main event.
Ding, ding, ding.
Saturday.
Yeah. It beautiful location. There was a bit of a line to get in. You had to get your bags checked.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And with for something?
No. And geocachers, they have a lot of baggage.
That's
we euphemism for something.
We won't go there.
I had my camera bag and it's got a lot of pockets. So
yeah. So yes, there was a little line to get in, but once you're in, it was very nice. There was plenty of open space. I went to a couple of the speaking events, and plenty of places to sit and I could sit and chat with people that I haven't seen since probably the last GeoWoodStock. Oh, nice. See, Three Hams waltz right in, no backpack.
There you go.
If you didn't have a bag, there was the middle line to go through.
Bag.
Yeah, that's right. That's funny.
CRS98 particularly enjoyed meeting a lot of the CNW listeners.
Well, and I think, we were talking about official side events. Well, there was an unofficial side event.
Yeah. Actually, it was all because of CRS98 at the Pint in the Pines event.
Oh.
He said, there's a lot of CNW listeners here. You should have some sort of little get together. It's like, I think I can do that. So Saturday night, after the main event, before Midnight Madness, I thought, you know what? I don't have a place to meet other than the lobby of the hotel. Let's do that. And I posted a picture on the social medias. There was what, a dozen of us that showed up.
Yeah, that's about right. That was a good turnout.
I thought it was a lot of fun to be
It
able to
was.
get together, just caching in the Northwest listeners. And just finding our way didn't include that one in his count.
Well, because it didn't count as an official event,
Didn't
but
give him a smiley.
yeah, no smiley.
So there you go. Okay, so the main event, nice amphitheater,
Yeah,
very, very
Lovely location.
ample seating, very good sound.
it was a
Um,
perfect venue for that, for a GeoWoodstock
Yeah,
event. I was
yeah.
really
Not
impressed.
too big, not too small.
Yeah.
Enough room for the vendors on,
Yep.
concrete, so they could, have
And up by the gates, and
up by the gates.
yeah,
Yep,
that was well set up
yep. It was windy.
at times. Yeah,
Yep. That was a challenge for some of the vendors.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I noticed Lisa had a bunch of stuff taped down to her table.
Yep.
That was smart.
Um,
But yeah, the main event, lots of cool stuff. The some of the stuff that are traditions
Mhm.
per se at GeoWoodstock. So the MASH directional sign
Mhm.
or MASH
Mhm.
style directional sign. I don't even know what you would call it. We always just call it the MASH sign because that's kind of what
Right, from the TV show MASH,
from the
they
TV show.
they had a signpost with arrows pointing in, cities in different directions. Yeah.
And the distance to those cities. And
Right.
for every GeoWoodstock, they'll have the post, and it gets a little taller every year because they have the arrows pointing to everywhere where there's previously been in GeoWoodstock. One of the things that I thought was kind of funny is because this one is so far south. And it was similar for ours in Abbotsford
Mhm.
because it was so far north relative to where most of the GeoWoodstocks have occurred. Most of the arrows kind of point in the same direction, which is kind of funny. And I noticed at theirs, most of the arrows kind of pointed in the same direction. Yeah, MASH, MASH, the TV show, absolutely. So it was kind of funny to see that with a couple pointing a little more
Mhm.
radically off in other directions, but it was great. They did a fantastic job of that. There's the letters that you can
Mhm.
pose at. They were using as the logbook for this event, which is fantastic. So people were signing the GWXX letters. They were smart and didn't try and spell out GeoWoodStock XX.
They have in the past.
We did.
Mhm.
That's a
Yeah.
lot of wood. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So very smart GWXX, and it was fantastic. So there was that. There was trackable station, which was exceptionally well run, very
Mhm.
smooth in and out, keep people moving and everything safely taken care of there. That was fantastic.
Pictures with signal. He was there.
Pictures with signal. They had their cutouts where you could take your
Mhm.
pictures as well. And things were spaced out enough that you didn't feel like you're tripping over people,
Mhm.
but it didn't take forever to get from one point to another. So
Yeah.
it was just really well done.
And they had a couple of adventure labs slash multi caches slash puzzles there. In
Yeah.
fact, they had a poster for each of the previous Geo Woodstocks telling a highlight about it. This was the first to do, X and Y and Z.
Yeah, I forgot that's another Geo Woodstock tradition of having the poster. So
Oh,
every Geo
I
Woodstock,
don't know if I'd seen them before.
yeah, we had them at Abbotsford. They were along the fence near the trackable station in Abbotsford. But every Geo Woodstock adds their own poster for
Mhm.
their event. And then so there's like this collection of the posters, and they all get sent along to the next Geo Woodstock. And
Gotcha.
they had one more. So
There you go.
there's always more posters. Yeah, I pity whoever is going to be hosting the 50th Geo Woodstock. They have a lot of posters.
It's a lot of mailing.
Yeah.
We're just going to send a semi truck. Here's everything you need.
That's going to get expensive to attend.
Right? Yeah.
So the weather there was what? Maybe it was in the 60s, maybe hit the 70s during the day.
Oh, Fahrenheit.
Oh, Fahrenheit.
Thinking,
Yeah.
no.
No, it was only in the 20s. What are you talking about?
Jeez, Chris, where were you?
I found the button in the car to change it to metric.
Nice.
Go from freedom units to Canadian units.
Yes.
Whatever you want to call them there, bro. Yeah.
But yeah,
From confusing units to base 10 units. Yes.
mhm.
Mhm.
There you go. So yeah, a beautiful location, beautiful weather.
Yeah.
Just very, very memorable.
Good event. Lots of friends, got to
Yep.
chat with tons and tons of people. So that was fun as well. And then, well, I mean, you mentioned it, but there was also the GPS maze, GPS adventure
Mhm.
maze. Um,
Nearby.
nearby, hosted in a mall of all things, which
Mhm.
was absolutely brilliant. So you're in an air conditioned space because, there is a bit of a lineup, but hey, when you're in a lineup and you're in air conditioning inside, not so bad.
It's bearable.
Bearable.
Terrible.
Brian, what did you think of the maze itself?
The maze was very similar to what we had done here in Abbotsford, in terms of the overall layout and the fact that you used the pop up shelters and what was it, vinyl panels.
Yep.
Um, but it's also very easy now for that maze to be transported somewhere else. So if they choose, they can put that maze on somewhere else. So that, I think, will let more people see a GPS adventure maze.
Yeah, that's always
Um,
good.
it was kind of neat to see how they approached it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I enjoyed that. Had an awesome opportunity. Very, very thankful to have some time to chat with Ryan. He was showing me around some of the things that they learned as they put that one together. He was helping out with volunteering there, and it was cool seeing what happened. Um, but yeah, Chris, what else?
Well, I want to shout out a couple of people.
Okay.
Just finding our way was fantastic. Being a native of Phoenix, yet growing up here in the Northwest, kind of had the best of both worlds, and it was good to get the input of a local. He'd been there all week and helped set up and help divide up the coins and the swag that we want to talk about.
Okay.
In your packet, you got game pieces. There were 4 different games.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, along with swag, sets of different colored path tags that you had to collect.
Yep.
There you go.
There's a lovely name badge. I'm
The
sorry
name
if that's
badge was
showing.
very nice.
I'm sorry if that's showing mirrored on your screen. That's just the way the camera works.
I was going to say, it doesn't even look like your name. Okay. Explains why.
Is that how you spell your name?
Yes, this is the new spelling for Brylan.
Okay.
Ganalid.
I can just try it this way. No, that doesn't work. But I really love this name badge. And on the back is one of the games. You're supposed to try and find somebody who had the exact same the color of the peace symbol, the color of the text, the color of the flowers,
and the background behind the peace symbol. Yeah, there were a lot of different elements on that.
And if you found somebody else and it matched identically, you got to do a punch buggy.
That's right. Hello, Gunnar. That was one. There was another one with a transparent overlay. Yes. That you had to determine the color of the car on there and get the right overlay to fit. And then in that, there was another puzzle to solve before you could actually come out with an English word.
Yeah, we tried for over an hour, tried to solve that thing. We had 6-7 different packets to work with.
Mm-hmm.
We did,
and we came up empty.
It took us a while to get onto I think by the end we had the right idea. We just didn't have the right pieces.
Well, from what I heard the next day was people kept trying. They just kept hitting the button to try the rot whatever over and over and over and over and over again, and they eventually got an answer. Yes, there was beer involved, so that may be why we did this.
3Ham says, "Let us not speak of the overlay. 7 geocachers trying it at the dining room table in our Airbnb with beer."
It was fun. I mean, honestly, even though it, like Brian said and Matt said, we struggled with it, but I mean, it was hilarious because there's the bunch of us were having beers, we're doing this, and it's like anytime you've got animated geocachers trying to work together in a group of that size trying to solve a puzzle. It's like everybody's getting louder than everybody else. No, my idea.
And then when we finally clued in that, oh, the colors match. Hey, we're getting
Yes.
somewhere.
There was an epiphany moment for sure. Yeah. No, that was good times.
I was fortunate enough to sit down at a table and two very nice ladies said, "Oh, do you want us to explain this to you? Would you?"
Please. Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, okay. So I don't have the right color overlay for my. I've got to go find somebody that has a blue one. I've got a black one. Okay, I can go do this." Well, I couldn't find anybody with the blue one.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, the overlay, I thought it was an ingenious puzzle, and it gave people time to mingle and to introduce themselves, as well as the name badge,
Mhm.
peace sign scavenger
Yeah.
hunt. Right, there were several that were getting close.
Very cool.
And of course, there was a bingo card.
Yep. Well, a couple of
I
different.
didn't play the bingo.
No, you know what? Personally, I honestly don't usually play many of the games, but that's just my thing. For people who
There's
enjoy them.
also,
Sorry.
there's also a selfie scavenger hunt.
Yes.
Oh yes.
And if I put my reviewer hat on, I was wearing my reviewer jacket, so I got a number of requests to be the take a photo with a reviewer.
There you go. Nice. And those are great ideas, and I think they're awesome. And I know a lot of people enjoy them, and I super promote the idea and put them out there. It's just for me personally, I would rather do. I'm going to be filming content and talking to people, doing my thing that I enjoy. But I think the majority of people really do enjoy the games, and I was very appreciative of the variety of games and things to do that they made sure were available. And as you say, that these were all handed to you in your registration packet, so you potentially had some extra time to work on those things.
I like UDEX comment here. And I kind of feel the same way. I'll sign other people's bingo cards, but there's other things to do.
Yeah,
Right.
There you go. I signed a couple of them myself.
I signed several. Yeah. Quincy says, as a first timer, it wasn't really clear what to do with all that.
Okay, that's a fair.
Yeah, a little
that's fair.
instruction page would have been helpful.
From what I understand, there was one in the booklet. They said, "Oh yeah, it's in there. You just have to find it and read it." And who reads the booklet? You look through and you go, "Okay, I saw that. Next." So
I don't even know where my booklet got to.
Yeah, CRS98 says many of the games were derived from going caching.
Very cool.
Well,
Going
and I think
caching?
it's
Also derived
fantastic.
from Spring Fling.
Well, same group did Spring Fling that did
Yes.
GeoWoodStock. So
Yes.
that was kind of a dry run for GeoWoodStock. Is what they explained it as.
Yeah.
We're running long and we're just still going. I think the games are great for newer cachers or maybe those who don't know as many people, and it allows you to have a neutral form of interaction. Hey, what sticker do you have on the back of your badge?
Yeah.
Oh, I see you're from so and so, right?
Oh, look, instructions for all the games.
Yeah.
in the little book there.
2 weeks later, I find them.
There you go. So I thought the games and swag were well done. Well, you had four same colored path tags if you got a package of a certain level.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea was to trade out 3 of those, so you end up with a set of 4 different colored path tags. And yellow was the one to have. Yellow is what everybody wanted.
Yeah.
And even to this day, people are still trying to trade them. And there's a Facebook group that was dedicated to the event. People are still trying to swap and complete their sets.
Wow. Well, guys, should we end it here and maybe we'll talk about our trip outside of GeoWoodStock there on the day after for another show.
Sounds good. Yeah, let's do that because there's a lot more stuff there. We can we can definitely look towards thanking our listeners and sponsors.
Well, and one more thing, as Keith mentions, the next GeoWoodstock is in West Virginia, in Morgantown, West Virginia. Which,
There you
if
go.
you don't have West Virginia, what's above it? Is it New York or Pennsylvania?
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania, then Maryland
You're-
and Virginia. Those are the three I need. I need West Virginia, Maryland, and Virginia.
Oh,
Well,
I,
going.
I've got West Virginia. I'll trade you.
Oh, would you? Okay.
Yeah, I did a quick preliminary look. You're only about an hour's drive from Pittsburgh. That's your closest major airport.
Right.
You're about a 3 to 3.5 hour drive over to Washington, D.C.
Okay. I mean, even that's not so bad, but
No.
but an
No,
hour
but
drive
I
is
mean,
really good.
If you
Well,
wanted
a
to,
3-hour drive to go get a state or four,
Yeah.
is doable.
Yeah, for sure.
Just
I've
saying.
done worse.
I'm just,
and what
talking about our
we
next
did.
upcoming episode.
Yeah, that's that was a how many hour road trip? We'll get there. We'll get
Yeah.
there.
Future
eventually.
episode. Next week, maybe. Yeah.
That's right.
Okay.
There
Chris,
you have
you
it,
wanna-
folks. That's GeoWoodstock in a quick review, right? There's a lot more going on. Many faceted event, all very well done. So thank you, Fu Manchu and your crew. I know
I love the way that rhymed.
yeah, exactly. Photo Mom and Share Bear 64. I think we're the three major. Of
Yeah.
course, there's a myriad
And
of volunteers.
dozens and dozens of other volunteers. And it's a good point. Thanks to everybody who volunteered, because you made a difference. Thanks to everybody who took the time to stop and say hi or take a picture with us when
Yep.
we're down there. That's
certainly
always
appreciate
a
it.
lot of fun.
When I was standing in the lunch line, they did geocaching quiz, and they played theme songs from many podcasts.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I know this one.
Did you dance?
I must have missed that.
I did.
Dance?
But
They called it a
only with
jazzy
your
little
upper
thing.
body. Your legs stayed perfectly still.
Yeah, and I wasn't wearing pants.
Okay.
I'm surprised they didn't kick you out.
Well, I've seen worse.
That's awesome.
And speaking of kicking you out, folks, it's time to kick you out. I hope you had. That's just that was a bad segue. I can't go with that, folks. Thank
Don't
you
let
for
the
tuning
door
in.
hit you on the way out. Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Caching in the Northwest.
Absolutely. We want to take a moment to thank Land Sharks and Gold Country Geotourism, our corporate Denali level sponsors. LANDSHARKZ.ca is the outdoor adventure and geocaching store. Remember to check them out online. There's online order shipping daily. And for absolutely amazing geocaching adventures, check out exploregoldcountry.com. We want to thank all of our faithful Denali level supporters. That's Land Sharks, Gold Country Geotourism, of course, but also Groovy Owl, Cool Cow Cachers, and Cashly, the geocaching app. Looking forward to Nick joining us on the show again soon. If you want to know more about supporting the show, click that Patreon link on the cachingnw.com website.
Like Butterfly Girl.
And Gas Station Tuna.
Bryling,
on,
did
Brian.
you want to get in?
Jump
Did
in,
you
Brian.
want to get
Go ahead,
involved?
Go
Okay.
ahead.
Limax,
Trexer.
CRS 98.
You Talks to Rocks.
Terrible Teas.
Kitty Quest.
Ari 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Doramore.
GeoNav Pro.
You Dak.
Geocaches.
Railroad.
Genies.
J Car.
Subway Mark.
Nerve.
Segehov.
Skyhawker.
Whidbey Island Gal.
Nervous Energies.
MC3 Cats.
Green Words.
B Pendragon.
Antaeus.
Logwork.
Geo Birder.
BC Rockcrawler.
The Camp Clan.
Kid Vegas 19.
Our favorite appliance, the LG 9000.
GSM times 2.
Team Noltex.
Seebeck Tribe.
Flagman.
Mountain Bike.
Just finding our way.
Acker Dock.
Just Carlo.
Wet Coaster.
Boomer 365.
and Wino Seattle.
I feel like I got all the animated ones tonight.
Yeah, it happens sometimes. It's completely random. Well, as random as a computer can get.
It's random-ish.
Pseudo random.
All right. Well, folks, thank you very much for listening to the podcast. If you want to get in touch with us here at the podcast, well, good job. You're already here.
Yeah. And you know what? The best thing to do is to go to that cachingnw.com website. You can also call 253-693-TFTC. And thank you for taking your time to listen to this show. Your support helps keep the quality show coming. If you like it, click the Patreon link on the cachingnw.com website. If you didn't like it, let us know what you want to talk about. But if you like the vibe, please subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and leave us a review. If you were in a restaurant, you would tip. If you were in a live audience, you would clap. But since you're on a podcast, leave us a free, fast, fabulous, fantastic 5-star review. Of course, as I said earlier, you can call into 253-693-TFTC and leave us a comment, ask us a question, or meet us at an event any time of the day or night. And don't forget, feedback at cachingnw.com. Join us every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Pacific for a live show and chat. The show is produced by Chris Umfenauer, Jim Paulwitz, Jake Kennedy, and Brian Lang. It's licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license. Copyright 2024 by Chris Umfenauer. And folks, I ask you to stay tuned for... Oh, I hit it, but I don't think I did it.
The after
There it is.
show.
There it is. You hit it, but you didn't did it.
I didn't did it enough to make it go.
Diddy did it.
That
All right.
really dude.
Yeah. Hey, Fatas, I'm going to grab this one here from Three Hams because this is very timely. This is what I wanted to talk about. So, Three Hams asks, when is Just Carlo going to post his next video of his travel bug going to GeoWoodStock 20? So, for those in the know, and if you watched Just Carlo's one of his most recent episodes on his YouTube channel, which he did a brilliant job of. It was Just Carlo Has FOMO, and we're doing a bit of a tag team. We're doing a cooperative filming effort, and I captured a whole bunch of footage for him, as well as for myself on the trip, and we took his trackable called Just Carlo Has FOMO down to the event that he could not make it to, and took it for a bunch of adventures. And Carlo and I are busily editing our complimentary collab videos, and hopefully they should both be going live next Friday. So not tomorrow, but the following Friday. So watch for that. It should be a lot of fun. You're going to have the story, but from two very different perspectives with two different styles. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So Three Hams, thank you for asking the question. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Nice. Boy, there were some questions we didn't get to.
There's a lot.
Seabeck Tribe says it was so cool to see so many of my Northwest cachers down there. Did see several at a distance, but didn't get a chance to say hi. There were even several I kept running into. And don't worry, the insurance is going to clear all that up, Seabeck Tribe.
Yeah, it was great to see her down there, and another volunteer.
Yes. So Keith says, approaching my 100th episode on the channel. So far, keeping the consistency going with an episode every Saturday. Editing is my after work, but it's a labor of love.
Awesome.
And of course, he spells labor with a U.
Well, yeah, because that's how it's spelled. Congratulations, Keats. That's excellent. That is a lot of work. 100 episodes on the channel. That's
a real milestone.
Speaking of channel milestones, today I hit 800 subscribers on my YouTube channel, which
fantastic.
It isn't much to most YouTube creators, I'm sure, but for me, that's a pretty big milestone. So thank you.
Well, congratulations, Land Monkey.
Yeah, and I'm hoping for many more, but I'm happy.
Well, Land Monkey, you may get some.
Oh, because
you need to check out the geocaching podcast when Chaz mistakes Kevin for you at the Cito. We talked about it yesterday on their show.
I hung out with him for a little bit at GeoWoodStock. We had a great great little chat. That's one of the many people I always have a lot of time for. I like hanging out with him. He's a fun guy. But that's funny. I haven't caught up on that episode yet for a geocaching podcast. So now I'm extra looking forward to it. That'll be funny.
There you go. Folks, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next week, get out and get caching.